¿Qué pasa, mi gente? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Financially Alpha. We're starting a new series called Meet INDY'S Pro because I think our city is full of great talent and I want to focus on them. So this week we have our special guest, Eduardo Evaristo.
Hello everyone, Eduardo.
What can you tell Indy about you?
Okay, well my name is Eduardo and I live in Fishers. I have a business. I do digital marketing. I work with a lot of local businesses. I work with businesses in other states as well. And pretty much my focus is on helping local businesses have online presence from a website, Google listings, just anything that's digital. And, everything is digital nowadays.
Yeah.
So that's my focus.
Especially with everything going on, everybody doesn't have everybody that didn't have digital content, digital menu, digital products or services, they're hurting right now. So because of with the pandemic going on, it's really hurting a lot of businesses that were not prepared, that were stuck maybe in the old age.
Right.
Yeah, so that's great that you're helping people out.
Yeah.
Businesses.
And I've been doing this for many years, since 2012, and I noticed with the pandemic, with the corona, that a lot of businesses did not have, because I work with a lot of restaurants, and some of them did not have online ordering. So people had to call the phone, and many times they couldn't get to the restaurant because somebody else was on the phone already. Like somebody else had called the phone, or maybe one or two people.
You got a lot of
and
people
pretty much,
card, huh?
yeah. So people had to try, and after so many tries, people give up. They're like, okay, I'm
losing a lot of revenue right there.
Yeah. So I noticed that with that there was a big need of online ordering. So I started working on a system, and pretty much I put it together, and pretty much I work several restaurants in Carmel use the system in Indianapolis. So and it's just.
Have you gotten any feedback?
Yeah, everybody's using it. Everybody's happy with it.
Great.
And then pretty much, they don't see, because there's a lot of competition. There's DoorDash and the Uber Eats, and there are different companies. They still don't see all the numbers that they want to see. But it takes time. It takes time. Everything takes time. You have to.
Yeah.
People have to start getting used to new systems, new things, and so it will take time before people can get familiar with this new system that I developed.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen that a lot of people in our era, in our age, everything's on demand. 2-day shipping, drive-through, 3 minutes, like everything's on demand. So a lot of people don't have patience anymore. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean. I noticed that I like Kings Island, and I noticed they have this express lane where pretty much you pay extra so that you don't have to get in line, the big line, and then they have the express lane, but you have to pay extra. So because people, like you said, nobody wants to wait. Nobody, we like things on demand, and there's a reason why a lot of like cable companies struggle because people don't want to wait a week to watch a new episode. They want to watch it on demand. So a lot of people use, they pay more, but at the same time they can watch an episode, the favorite episode, favorite shows. They can watch it in the morning, they can watch it at noon, they can watch it at night, just whenever they want, on demand.
Yeah, that's something me and the wife struggle. As soon as we like a show, we binge watch it till like midnight or until like our eyes can handle it, then we go to bed.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I remember that I was, when I started watching, there's a show that it's called Breaking Bad. And then it was really popular a few years ago. And then I remember I was driving and I would hear on the radio, like, local bars were throwing like Breaking Bad, like, watch something. It was like a night or something. Like people would come to the bar and watch like several episodes, while drinking. And I think it was pretty ingenious, but you know the show was over and then they
Yeah.
stopped doing it. But you know people just we just want to watch, you know, nonstop or something like
Yeah.
whatever we want.
Eddie, I believe that people, before becoming businessmen like you, are entrepreneurs. So what made you want to become an entrepreneur?
I think there was I just had an opportunity. I used to wait tables at this place called Sunrise Cafe, and
Shout out to Sunrise Cafe.
yeah, a great place. Go check them out. It's a Sunrise Cafe in Carmel, and I used to wait on this guy. His name is Tony, but he used to come and he was on his laptop. I noticed that he was there for hours, and he seemed like a really nice guy. So I decided to ask him, like, hey, so what do you do? And he told me I do web design. And I'm like, oh, cool, that was cool. And maybe I thought about it. I was like, that's a cool job, and it sounds like like you could make money from that and stuff like that. And I remember that, then I came up with this concept, this idea. It was called originally job sale. They're changing for local businesses,
Yeah.
but for Hispanics, because I thought like you have Google, you have Yahoo, and then you have other search engines,
Yeah.
but you have nothing for Hispanic, the Hispanic population. And
This was before Facebook Marketplace, right?
yeah, that was before the
Way
yeah.
before.
So what I did is I sat down with this guy, and I told him about my idea. I said, hey, listen, I'm thinking about doing a website, and I don't know, you can help me. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And I said, okay. So I sat down. I was messing with my computer. I learned how to do mock-ups, like set up, like create images and something. I didn't know really what I was doing, to be honest. But I created something called workflow. So I sat down and I did the workflow. I did some designs, some images and stuff like that. And so then once I was ready, I went back to the guy. But it took a year. And the reason it took a year because I was working. At times I had two jobs.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, was on the way. And then so it was, it took some time.
Yeah.
It took me a year. But once I had everything ready, I sat down with this guy again, and I said, hey, listen, I have this, idea, and I wanna develop it, And then he said, okay, yeah, let's we talk about cost, we talk about how long it would take, and all that stuff. Then I needed investors, so
Yeah.
I
Trying to raise capital.
yeah. So I did. I have my three brothers, Saul, Ignacio, and Luis. And so what I did is we we went out of town for a camping trip to Brown County, and we spent the night there. Then I took the advantage of that opportunity, and I
Having
told
everybody together.
yeah, we were all in the hot tub, and I remembered exactly when it happened. I sat down, we were in the hot tub, and we were drinking. Actually, we had some drinks, and I told my brother, I said, hey, listen, I have this idea, and this is what we can do. This is, and I told them, they're like, yeah, we went in. I said, okay, and I told them, it would cost this much money, and how much can you help me with?
Yeah.
So then, they said, okay, this is what we want to do. I said, okay, let's do it like this. So then, so we did.
What do you think about those people that want to start a business and they have a mentality? They think that you need a lot of money. Is it true? Do you think?
No.
What do you think with
I
your
mean,
experiences?
The more I get to know this, it's not about the money. It's about the skills, and it's about the people you know.
What skills would you say would be very helpful in general?
Skills, I would say just like being inquisitive, like asking questions, like how can I do this? How can I learn that?
Yeah.
How can you do this? One of my first questions was how to create a website. That was one of my first questions.
Who did you ask? Google?
Facebook, YouTube. I went to YouTube. I typed, and I found some channels. I found videos, tutorials, and then I started just like learning. Another thing is you just have to be open-minded because a lot of people, you know, the reason why people they keep a job is just because they don't think that they can do it, or they don't think that like if something is right for them or something like that. To me, it's like you have to be open-minded. Nobody is born knowing how to ride a bicycle. Nobody is born liking onions. So it's an acquired taste. Like the more I eat onions, the more I like them. And the same thing is with a business idea or anything. You're not born with you don't know how to do it, and you don't like it from day one. I remember I sat down and I started like learning how to code, how to write code, how to set up a page and stuff like that. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I was at times I was afraid I was gonna bring down the whole internet.
That powerful.
No, I mean, I didn't know. You just don't know. And at times it's like like, okay, I'm gonna try this and try that. And just have to be open-minded. So that's another thing you have to do.
Yeah. How do you deal with failure? Like, are you how scared? Like 1 to 10, on the scale 1 to 10, how scared were you of failing?
I mean, I don't even think about that really. I mean, I told you from the beginning we had this concept. It didn't work out. We tried for at least a year, and we didn't see any results. So we decided to go in a different way, in a different direction. My brothers, they have their own business, and I started, I went my own way. I'm doing this, on my own. We're no longer together in like the same business, but I don't know. I didn't think about that. I don't think about that. At the end, I always question like, what's the worst that can happen? It's okay, if I spend, let's say a domain name can cost you like $10. Hosting can be like $100 for a whole year. And then
how much does Amazon charge for a subscription? 120?
Well,
110?
I don't know. Is this for what? What service?
Amazon Prime.
Oh, I don't know. I think
it was like
I've never had it.
Me neither. I think I've heard it was like 100, or Walmart one was 100.
I mean, you spend more money on Starbucks. You buy at least like 3 times as much on the average person. I think they spend like at least Starbucks once a day. And let's say you spend $1, which you don't at Starbucks. That's $365 dollars a year that you spend. So for 1/3 of that, you can pretty much set up your own domain, set up your own server, and start learning how to create a website. But you just have, like I said, you have to be open-minded. Don't be afraid of what's gonna happen. What's the worst? That's what I mean. Like, what's the worst? The worst is I'm gonna waste. I'm gonna lose $110. And that's it. That's the worst. And maybe you waste some time, but it's just don't be afraid. Don't worry about it.
What do you think about? I was talking to another friend, and he says that him and his spouse, they spend money, like they invest in domains. So they go and like buy a whole bunch of domains and then just hold on to them like real estate, and then resell them back whenever something comes up.
If you know what you're doing, that's a really good investment. The shorter the URL, the domain, the more it costs, like the more valuable. So you can make $1 million on a single domain. Seriously, there's I usually like I read articles about stuff like this, and like recently there were some domains. I forgot the name of this domain. I think it was ink.com or something like that. And somebody sold it for $1 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he bought it in 2004, I think. But still, like back then, nobody thought about it. And then you think about it, it's been 16 years. So year after year, let's say he paid $15 for the domain.
$15
for 15 years. I mean, and then he made $1 million. That's a great investment.
Forget crypto, right?
So I mean, I do a little bit of that too. I have a lot of domains. If you go into my account, you'll see like I have hundreds of domains, like some of them I don't use, So I kind of used a little bit, like, for something called SEO, search engine optimization. But I mean, I do a little bit of that, but I don't. I think the good ones are already taken.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So what's the next question, bro?
So that's great that you went part-time. A lot of people think that when you're gonna start a business, you would have to go full-time, but it's not really the case. You can go part-time, and that would be the best place, because first that would be the best move to make, because you would learn it and then see if it fits instead of diving in.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is kind of go full-time from the beginning.
So?
But it's hard. It's hard. Like, you're gonna cry. You're gonna regret it. You're gonna go through so many emotions if you do that. Unless, of course, you have money saved, you have an inheritance or something.
Yeah. Or you have a mentor guiding you.
Oh, you have something like that, but I think that's the best thing to do, is just go, just jump. But I think, there's nothing wrong with doing it like gradual. Mm-hmm. When I started, I was waiting tables, and I started, learning how to do this, and then I was working 6 days. Then I cut down to 5 days, and then I did that for several months, and then I cut back for another day. Then it was 2 days.
Yeah.
And then at some point I was working twice a week. I was working Fridays and Sundays, which were the busiest days at the restaurant. So I knew I was gonna go in for 2 days and make good money at least for 2 days.
Enough to pay the bills.
Yeah, enough to pay the bills. And then I was just like, that's what I did. And I mean, even though it was hard because I remember a couple times I had customers that they were like, they were
demanding.
It was just hard to deal with people. It's hard. Just the way you deal. It's hard to deal with customers. It's gonna be. With bosses and everything. It was just hard to dealing with them. I remember, they said, "Hey, we're gonna." This is the one thing I will never forget. It was around 7 in the evening, and we had a meeting at their house. So I showed up at the house, at 7, and they were supposed to pay off a website that I designed for them.
Yeah.
And I was waiting outside, and pretty much I was out of money. Like, I had no money. Wow. Maybe I could drive back home, and that's it. Like, no more gas money. I didn't have anything. Yeah. I remember I was at the house. I was waiting for them to come home, and the guy told me, "Oh, we'll be there in 30 minutes." I'm like, "Okay." So 30 minutes, then an hour, and again. But I was so desperate for that money that I was willing. I waited there for 2 hours.
Wow.
And I think it was maybe a little more than 2 hours. And I remember I text the guy, and I would text him like, "Hey, so are you on your way, or what's going on? Something happened? You want to change or something?" He won't respond, but I didn't leave. Then finally, his wife called me, and she was very difficult. And then she's like, "No, just we're not gonna make it," or something like that. Just go, or something like that. Yeah. But she was like kind of rude in a way, like she wasn't like really pleasant. And I remember I was really like I said, I was so frustrated. It was the toughest night. Yeah. I was driving home. I was really desperate, and then I had to pretty much, do things that I usually don't like doing, which is, borrow money. And I call my brother, Saul, and I said, "Hey, can I borrow $20 for gas?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And I knew he would let me borrow, and it was no big deal. It was $20, and
it was mostly your ego, your
yeah. It was more that. It was more that, like self-esteem. I was frustrated. There were so many things, and I just said, it's the last time I'll deal with something like this, and I that was the last time I think I did actually. It's but that's what I mean. Like, even though I was doing it gradual, I was just pretty much, just having enough, and I remember. it's hard. It's just hard, you
A
know.
lot
But
of mental toughness, emotional toughness.
but that that pretty much kind of makes you like think about some things, and to me, but I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to change some things, like the way I do business with this kind of people.
Yeah.
So my ever since I was like, I'm not gonna work with people like this. I don't care if it's $300 or $500 a year. I'm just not gonna put up with it. I'm just gonna fire them. Like Robert Kiyosaki says, just fire your customers, and I fired his customers. So
Yeah.
so you
Somebody else's problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
But and it's hard. So
Yeah. I heard this meme that said this motivational quote. I share a lot of motivational quotes in my Facebook page, in my website, and one of them said that the harder the struggle, the more triumphant the success would be. Something like that. I can't remember word for word, but that's what it reminded me when you were talking about that story.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's it's not gonna be easy. It will never be easy. It's like but it's worth it. At the end, it's worth it. I've been doing this since 2012. That's when we first launched the SEO website, the first concept. But then, like I said, 2013 we changed directions, and then we got rid of the original website. Pretty much we changed course. Like we said, this is not working. We'll try something else.
Yeah.
And then, or at least I did. I said that I'll try something else. Then I started doing graphic design. And I started a little bit of web design, but I noticed the graphic design is a pain. So I was like, okay, this is not working. I'm just gonna try something else. And then I started doing the web design. But the more I did, the more the better I became at it. And then, but it's just I don't know. It's just a process.
Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
It's okay. So where do you see, where does Eduardo go from now? So 2012 to now is what, 7 years? 8 years? 8 years. So what do you see the next 8 years evolving into?
My goal is to grow. I'm working on systems, and the systems. I see. I'm still learning. So you should never say, okay, I know everything.
Especially because the world's always changing.
It's always changing.
Yeah.
So you should never think that you're done or something like that. I have different services, but there are some services that I know that I want to keep doing because they are easy to replicate, and there are some that are hard to replicate. They involve a lot of time, a lot of phone calls, a lot of dealing with customers or people that are difficult. So in my goal is to in 8 years, not even 8 years, like 1 more year, to be just to have these systems up and running, like on their own. And then there's Robert Kiyosaki talks about building a business. There are 2 ways of building it. He said one is horizontal, one is vertical. I don't know if you ever heard of this.
No.
So horizontal is like you open an office, you hire employees. You open a second office, you hire more employees, and then but the more people you have to hire, the more the harder it is to manage one business. And then there's the vertical one, where it's pretty much you create a system and you outsource. So you pretty much you don't have to do everything, but you just hire people, you outsource it to other people. Let other people deal with problems. And the system is that is easy to replicate. You pretty much click one button and it replicates. You don't have to let's say food, okay, the dish, like you make maybe a famous chef can make a really delicious dish, but how hard is it to replicate that dish for anyone? It's just almost impossible, maybe. Even for the chef, he has to do a lot of work, from scratch, and But then there's let's say a subscription, let's say Netflix. you know, you have Netflix, you know, you have this subscribe button or sign up, or I don't know what this is, but you go, you click on the button, and pretty much the system is ready to set up a new account. And you know, it's not gonna charge you $100 like the dish, but you know, it can be better because it can charge $10 for it, but then it can have 1,000 people with one click. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, like, so I don't know, that my goal is to have something like that, something that is easier to replicate. And you know, like when I need help with some system, just outsource it and don't hire like someone that I have to put on a payroll, and it's gonna be harder because then you have to, you know, do a lot of paperwork and stuff like that.
Managing,
So, at least that's my goal in at least one more year. So I was gonna say that you know, it's been I started 2012, but pretty much this I've been doing it full time since it's gonna be September. It's gonna be my third year or my fourth year.
Full time? Wow.
Yeah, full time. Like you know, like I do this every day. And So, but I forgot. I think it's the third year. Only.
Wow, time flies, huh?
Yeah, time flies. It gets easier. Yeah. Because right now, you know, it's this. I can survive, I can save, and I can, you know, I'm doing investing, the mutual funding, and you know, this money I wouldn't be able to do it like over 3 years or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it gets easier with time. You know, I get more customers and more customers. I get more residual income, more. You know, so it's easier.
Yeah, not talking about residual income. A lot of people only know one source of income, which is earned income. Growing up, a lot of people, if you grew up poor class or middle class, like all you heard is earn income, go to school so you can get a job. So what do you think about other types of income?
I think if
one of the popular ones that pop to mind right now, like if you go online and you search Tai Lopez or Grant Cardone or all these gurus, like there's a whole bunch of commercials, passive income. What do you think about passive income?
I mean, that's the best way to both become independent and become rich. Like, you know, you because you can make a lot of money, but if you're like stuck at home at the office, like, you know, the moment you, let's say a doctor that, you know, specializes in, let's say brain surgery, brain surgery, pretty much he will make a lot of money and they make a lot of money, but you know, it's like he has to be there. He has to operate, he has to be present. But then you think about, you know, other people, let's say Mark Zuckerberg, I'm pretty sure they spend time at the office, but pretty much, you know, they don't, it's like, you know, what they have created, you know, they have residual income. So pretty much, you know, they really don't have they don't have to be there to make money and to make a living, and more than a living. And if he wants to, he can retire tomorrow at his age and pretty much be okay for the rest, and maybe him and his son, his kids, and maybe his grandkids. So he could pretty much, he could, like, freedom. I think to me it's like, it's about freedom. It's about if you wanna get up in the morning and go to the office, but that's more like an option for you. It's good. I mean, that's, to me, the residual income is freedom. It's just freedom. It's happiness.
I like that. Residual income equals freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom. I think that's what everybody should try and do. At least get one source, you know, one of income from, like, through residual income.
Okay, cool. Well, that's it, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this content. Hope you enjoy our conversation, and see you guys next time.
Take care.
Indianapolis.
Adios.